folks, Jason Shepard here with the Anchor Room. Just wanted to kind of give an update on the taillight installation. I want to give you somewhat of a close-up look into how we do this. We've had a lot of success with this product, but still occasionally get some people that are frustrated because of, I guess we are omitting some of those details. We've talked about previously in videos about making sure that everything is aligned. We're looking for this general area. We want to obviously cover all of the lenses. We want to make sure that the top area is also covered. But the alignment process is not complete until you get literally all four corners. So we're talking about the top, the right side. You will need enough tint to overhang to the bottom edge, and you're looking probably anywhere from a 1/16 to about an 1/8 of an inch of overlap on this side right here. So we're going to install this piece of tint just to kind of once again give you a complete broad view of exactly how this is done, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, for this installation we're going to use a microfiber towel to dab up any excess moisture. We have a felt tip squeegee, and we're going to use the heat gun for this application for an absolute perfect installation. I would strongly suggest removing any wedding rings or rings of sorts or any jewelry that may scratch the car to ensure that it doesn't happen. And I'm going to do my best to work around this camera. Maybe a little bit tedious, but you'll get the idea. Alright, to begin with, we're going to make sure that the lens is absolutely clean. Make sure there's no debris. And she looks like she's in good shape. I'm going to take our leftmost panel lens, excuse me, in this case rightmost panel lens. As you can tell, I've already put the application fluid, which is nothing but soapy water, on the lens. I'm also putting it on the back side of the actual tint piece. And now again, I'm just going to line up all four corners to make sure it's perfect. You'll notice I'm going to kind of what they call ramp it up a bit, and by that I mean it's kind of like shoving it into this area more than it almost appears like it should. And what that does, it's going to go up that curvature to make sure that none of the lens is exposed and that it's an absolute perfect installation. I think I have it in a pretty good spot right now. I'm going to hold it in place, and you'll notice everything is covered. We have enough overlap at the bottom, and we have enough overlap at the left side of the lens. So I'm going to hold it in place like I said. I'm going to take our water, and at this point what we're pretty much doing is we're washing away the excess soap that is in the application fluid. And what this is doing is it's obviously making the tint stick in place, and it's also of course giving you a clear appearance. Alright, in this piece, in regard to this piece, I'd like to call this a 3-panel piece. You have a panel right here, a secondary panel, and then that last panel towards the inside. How we do all of these is we start again from the center out on everything, and we're going to move the great amount of moisture out of that rightmost panel on this lens. Then we're going to do the same thing with that secondary panel. And at this point, we're pretty much done with this squeegee, and I'll show you what I mean. Again, there's no such thing as too much moisture. But at this point, we're going to use our thumb, not your fingernail, your thumb, to pretty much work out what we call those fingers from the right side or second panel right here towards the outside of that lens. Now mind you, I've not used any heat yet, but using heat gun at any point in time when you want to do this, it's going to probably make it a little bit easier. Today we're dealing with a beautiful day. It's about 75 degrees out right now, so this stuff is pretty easy to work with as it is. Now again, I'm working around the camera, so forgive me if it seems a little awkward, but I think you probably see it fairly well. See the fingers right here along that lens? See, there's a big one and there's smaller ones. But what you're doing is you're just gradually working at it until the fingers pretty much terminate on the lip that you're going to wrap around. At this point, I think using a heat gun is probably an important piece, but I'm going to reposition the camera so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Alright, so I've repositioned the camera, probably making my installation just a smidge more difficult working around this camera, but I really wanted you to see those fingers. So again, using too much water, no such thing. I'm going to make sure everything is washed out. And as you can tell, the lens is pretty nice and clear already because we've washed away most of that soapy residue here. Again, I think it's most important you work at these fingers, you get them to the edge. Now, if you're brave and you don't want to use a heat gun, like I said, you don't have to if you have a nice warm day. You could technically wrap this around already. I want it to be perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of heat from a heat gun. Hope you can still see that on the camera. And once this gets, a little soft, at this point, you can wrap it around just a bit at a time. And as you can tell, again, I'm kind of in an awkward situation or position, but it's working out pretty good. And you just work your way down. Until you've wrapped pretty much all those fingers around the bin. Now, that's one side of the lens. As you can tell, it came out pretty nice. But now we have to worry about the bottom piece right here, and we're going to taper the top side also. So let's work on the bottom piece first. But if you apply a little heat to the lens, you may see some excess moisture. You can still use your squeegee to work out, because at this point nothing is sealed. Add a little heat to the bottom here, like I mentioned. And you'll just see, while the material is being tapered to the lens, how we're just pretty much just moving that water, residual water, right out from underneath. You're going to get towards this corner right here. Heat it up nicely. And just wrap it together. And it's nice and neat. Alright, so the next step, we're going to attack this top piece right here. I would add a little bit of heat, move the squeegee up. A little bit of heat, move the squeegee up, and all you're doing is you're giving that vinyl tint an opportunity to contour to the lens, which at the same time forces out that excess liquid left. And then in the corners right here, we're going to use a little bit of heat and then taper it neatly by use of the microfiber towel. And you just want to go back and forth, add a little heat, and then work out any imperfections. And again, I'm working around the camera here, so forgive me if it looks somewhat awkward. But as you can tell, slowly but surely you're going to end up with a perfect lens that looks absolutely fantastic on this Mustang. So just to recap real quick, line the tint up on the lens, make sure that it lines up in all four corners or four sides, make sure that that lip extends just over that curve. Do the rightmost lens in this case first, then the second panel, and last but not least, working your thumb over. Get the fingers out, use heat to taper the edge over, and then again using heat and a squeegee, work the top sides, curve around the bottom, and you're going to end up with this perfect product. Thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we appreciate your purchase.